Hello and welcome back to the desk here at SPL Studios. We're here with the summer finals presented by Cursed Voice. We've got one game in the books, and it went to Paradigm as they take on Cloud9 in a best-of-5 contest.
That's right. 1-0 Paradigm, not only, I guess, silencing the haters here, but showing not only signs of life, but they are, in my eyes right now, leading the meta. That start, I don't think I'll stop talking about it for the weekend unless somehow someone does something better, but being ahead of Cloud9 by 2,000 experience after dropping First Blood and another kill, what can you do? How can it be better?
Just absolute. I mean, what's your term, Brandon? Destruction. That's what we saw. That's what we saw out of Paradigm right here. And this is a team. Sure, Cloud9 is short Barracuda, but I don't think that was really the storyline here. I think the story is just Paradigm doing what they should be.
Yeah. Paradigm's playing great. Like, Trix looks really comfortable on the Warrior Bologna, so I'm excited to see more Warriors, maybe even Bologna again. I'm curious to see what they're going to play next.
Trix always does extremely well with movement, which is way back in the day why he did so well with Guan Yu, so great with Wukong. Warriors are his mainstay. Looks like we're going to be starting off. Cloud9 going to take the first ban, or second ban. It's going to be Janice and Isis. Okay.
Absolutely.
Wow, that was a lot.
No surprise. I mean, Aurora, you're jumping in your seat. Just no surprise.
Yeah, Isis for sure. Like, after they played against it, they probably were having success against it in scrims. They're like, yeah, we could play against it. But now since they're on stage and they played against it one time, they're like, no more Isis. Let's get it out of here.
And I mean, that fits what they usually do. Cloud9 has banned Isis.
Ratatosker, Alquang, both made it through. They can't raw pick Ratatosker here because Fenrir's still available. Paradigm's going to have to pick Fenrir in the next run. Otherwise, Ratatosker's going to get through for free. Alquang already on the table, and I'm assuming someone's trolling.
I think Bologna was a great pickup here, especially with Trix, how well he played it last game. Them getting Bologna is huge, and Bologna is like a really, really strong god in LAN, it seems, so far.
But Ratatosker's picked up here. Fenrir's still available. They're going to pick Freya. This is an instantaneous Freya pick here, or rather Fenrir, but Bologna has already been picked. Oh, I'm sorry, switching to Geb on the left side. If Bologna's already locked in, they could switch her to ADC. They could switch her to support. They could lock in Fenrir. Otherwise, Ratatosker's going to get away with being crazy for free.
And Ratatosker, this is one of the newer gods that we have on deck. Wow. We saw Pwash the first time around. Ratatosker is going to be, well, if you guys are unfamiliar with the god, extremely mobile, not just with the dash, with his number one ability, but his ultimate allows him to...
He's a pain in the ass.
And he usually gets Blink as well, so...
Blink, dash, an ultimate that allows you to travel the world, frankly. This character is one of the most mobile characters in Smite.
One of the best things, and probably the strongest thing about Ratatosker, is he needs beats.
Yes.
Right? He does not need a second active. He can build Blink, Shell, Weakening, Enfeebling, Girdle of Might, whatever he wants.
Yeah, Blink's amazing because you could pop your 2, you blink, you dash, and the acorns just follow you all the way, and you can go through so many people with it. It just does so much damage.
It's so dirty. I didn't even think about that one. Third round bans are coming out, both mid lane focused. Pwash, Agni, and Apollo will be picked up one more time for Cloud9. So Omega very, very clearly comfortable on the Audacity Hunter.
So Apollo being locked in here, the Mesmerize is big because he can shut down the Ratatosker dashes.
Yeah, they have a really heavy dive comp. They have the Thor ultimate, the Bologna ultimate to jump in. Athena can either ult Thor, Bologna, or even Apollo. Apollo could dash in Mez, ult into the backline. So they are looking to dive Frey here because they can't really dive in Alquang, Geb, or Ratatosker. So it's pretty surprising that they picked so much. Oh, and the Chronos got locked in as well.
Wow.
Chronos is so strong here, but I have question marks all over my face.
No. What is this?
We'll talk about Zeus in a moment. MLC Stealth loves Zeus, and with the way this composition is, it's going to protect it. But Paradigm, Alquang, Ratatosker, Chronos, Freya, who's going where? Geb support, that's all I've got.
How did Geb, Alquang, Ratatosker get on the same team? First off, and second of all, how is Zeus the answer to this? Cloud9 either are going to wind up being geniuses or they're going to go to Game 3 very upset.
Well, if Cloud9 works through CC really well in these team fights on the Alquang and Ratatosker, the Zeus is going to get crazy damage off on him because they're both going to be looking to dive the backline, which is Zeus and Apollo. Apollo can Mez for Zeus, and Zeus has his ultimate, so they could just stand in that and hopefully hope for the best and Ratatosker and Alquang to die.
See the stats?
No.
0-0 win percent null.
But now this is very interesting. Zeus hasn't been played here in the finals. He hasn't been played in the summer split at all. But those of you at home that have followed Cloud9 all the way back to when they were Cognitive and Cognitive Prime, this is a god that MLC Stealth absolutely loves. He's a longtime Zeus player, and for all of Zeus's downfalls, which is mainly a lack of escape,
right,
MLC Stealth is able to utilize that damage, which is a lot to his advantage.
And another thing with Zeus against this team comp, they have the Ratatasker and the Freya. If Zeus gets 3 charges on them and they go into the air, he could kill them still.
That's true.
So that's pretty good on his part.
Very, very true. As you said, the detonate range of Zeus, well, there is no range.
Yeah.
So Zeus able to go ahead and do it. We're going to get into our second game of the summer finals presented by Curse Voice, Paradigm versus Cloud9, and right away teams are ready to look at each other, warding the mid-harpies.
So it looks like we're going to see Cubo Fred taking Ao Kwang to the jungle, Zalia taking Ratatosker to the solo lane.
Wow.
He'll be matching up against, it looks like, Mr. Mackey and the Bologna. Thor going, of course, to the jungle. MLC Stealth in the mid lane with Zeus. Nothing surprising there. What is a little surprising to me is Lobster's Kronos. Have we seen this?
I don't believe we have seen much Kronos out of Lobster. When I think of Lobster, I think of Agni. I think of, well, everything but Kronos.
Yeah.
But we mentioned it a lot in the past game, Brandon. Lobster's a guy that you don't really question these things. He's played so much Smite at such a high level. It's something new, but I'm expecting a high performance.
Well, 10 seconds till the creep spawn here. We're going to see, it looks like a very similar start coming out from Paradigm on the bottom. And if we don't mind, Clumsy, I would like to ride around with Paradigm on the bottom right side of the map here. Ratatosker, Ao Kwang, and Kronos, and I really want to just pay attention to what they're doing because this is so important to their early game start. So you're going to see the jungle and solos start the speed, and you're going to see Lobster do the back camps by himself. Now remember, it's 80 feet, not 60 feet anymore. So they're killing 2 camps at the same time. Then Zalia and Cubo Fred move over to do the duo on the blue buff. By the time they finish this up and go to lane, they will have lost maybe 1 creep, most likely none, and Lobster goes to lane getting 2 points of experience.
So Lobster's going to be on that Kronos. We'll see Cubo Fred join him in the middle lane while Zalia makes his way into the right side
Lost no creeps
on this Ratatasker. Yep. Able to get all of them, and seeing these new gods on Zalia, not a surprise to what we're used to.
Oh, that chain lightning was real cute. Stealth throwing a big warning sign saying, like, I am the god of thunder. We will for god of lightning, god of gods. I don't know, he's scary, man.
I can't say that on the air. What were you going to say, Aurora?
But yeah, Ratatasker might die here.
Mackey's in
or
trouble.
Bologna. Oh my God!
Quick first blood, and as I said, not a surprise to see new gods on Zalia showing that he's put in the work, immediately gets the kill, not even a minute into the game.
He's got the blue acorn here, meaning he's either going Sapphire or Emerald. Now, we saw Divios with the Emerald doing a lot of healing. That's what it does, right? You're going to get that Acorn Blast to heal you up for each target it hits. Otherwise, Sapphire turns the acorns themselves into bombs. A little less damage PvE, a little more damage PvP.
Yeah, the Emerald Acorn's really good because he's just going to be able to sustain himself and get a lot of farm. If Ratatasker makes it into the late game, farmed up, he's just going to be dashing all around your backline and just picking people off really easily. So that's what he's looking to do here.
Well, Zalia forced to dash away here. Mackie coming back to lane with a 4-minute cooldown incurred on that level 1 teleport.
Back camps being cleared out by Paradigm, and taking a look at this mid lane matchup, I'm coming back to Kronos, one of my favorite gods. Zeus up there as well, and Zeus, I mean, he's not going to get it on Lobster, that's for sure, but Zeus just hasn't been played a lot. It's a lot of surprise for a lot of the players at home. So we take a look. He's building the Soul Stone, Aurora. How does that impact Zeus?
Yeah, the Soul Stone's really cool because it gives him a lot of mana regen, so he's able to just pick up health potions, not really any mana potions. And he's also able to get more power on his detonates. So what it does is you auto-attack 5 times. Once you get 5 stacks, you're going to get 30 more magic power on your abilities. So it's going to make Zeus's detonates even stronger earlier on.
Emerald has been finished 2 minutes and 30 seconds into this game. The damage isn't going to be super high, but he's going to be able to force Mackie back again. If Mackie doesn't leave here, he's going to drop.
Yeah, something else to look at, too. For people that don't play against a lot of Ratatasker, his 2 does so much damage early on. I was playing as Ares the other day, and his 2 at level 7 did 400 damage to me, some crazy number. It's like insane, yeah.
Well, it's going to be hard for him to do that much with the blue acorn, though. Remember, it applies slows, not damage, and he's going to have to really put himself in an awkward. Yeah, it does. Yeah. It does. It does a lot. Remember, all 12 acorns can hit on the way in and on the way out if you position absolutely perfectly.
Speaking of positioning, Paradigm positioned perfectly on the right side of those Harpies, spawning momentarily. They'll be able to pick up the mid-Harps, no problem. Cloud9 putting themselves in position to gain footing on the left side to protect those Harpies, but they'll be up in a little bit. Zelia, on the other hand, playing denial, not allowing Mr. Mackey to pick up a blue buff at all.
Cubo Fred blinking right past. No one can spot him in that stealth. He's able to get back safely. Still, first blood belongs to Paradigm. This time, not the bigger lead here. As you can see, only about 500 gold total, even with first blood.
These left Harpies about spotting, should be not blinking just yet, so not momentarily. There they are. Just momentarily, Paradigm going to pick, or Cloud9 going to pick these ones up, no problem.
This core fight's really strong from Cloud9. They have the Zeus, Athena, and Thor. They have a ton of CC to set Zeus up, and they just have a lot of burst damage out of Thor. So Paradigm's doing a really good job by just giving the big Harpies up, and yeah, it's paying off because they're just farming right now.
And I mean, you said it earlier. You could just stay, when you're getting aggressed on, you can just hang out in the Zeus ultimate. Well, if there's a Bologna ultimate there as well, there's damage for the enemy to take, and you have extra protections. Yeah. It's just a perfect combination for help I'm being aggressed on.
So we're 4 minutes 30 into the game. Gold Fury still available here, albeit not super worth it at this stage of the game. They're normally, in the previous patches, would have been an attempt there from Cloud9, but they're going to be smart about this. They're going to go back, continue farming. Speaking of farming, Zelia by himself in this lane again.
Zelia has been pushing up Mr. Mackey systematically. No problem for him there, level 8 above the level 7.
Yeah, if you look at the dual lane too, one thing Cloud9 just did is they took their purple buff away. That's really good for Cloud9 because Paradigm's dual lane is a Geb Freya. You have to take advantage of that. They're so defensive early on and they're so weak. So Cloud9 did a fantastic job there.
We saw what happens late game with Freya and how strong she is. It's quite the opposite in the early game. Freya's a character that is 100% dependent on attack speed, so what that means is you need the items. Early game, there's next to no clear, there's next to no damage, and that purple buff, it's just going to help her out. Taking that away helps them out.
All right, so Clumsy, let's bring up Golden Hand here. I'm interested to see Zelia, who is not back to the base yet. He bought both versions of his Acorn. He's looking at about another 100 gold before he can back. It's going to be full Warrior Tabby when he gets back there.
Full boots coming out, and that'll just allow him to be even more mobile.
Yeah, and he'll be able to rotate with his ultimate. He could just run over, or he could even ult over, and then he'll have the boots movement to get back to solo, and he won't even lose that much tower damage. Especially the way how far Makey's behind right now.
It's brutal, right? That Emerald really getting a lot of work in. This is, I say, one of the two the Acorns that really get things done. We usually see the Europeans going for the Opal as opposed to the North Americans really like the Emerald, most notably Divio. So this is not something I expected from Zelia. Considering the fact that he is known as such an aggressive player, it's strange to see him go into defense.
What's very interesting to me is game 1, Zelia won that lane, but it wasn't that huge. This time around, Zelia's warmed up, and now we're seeing the solo lane MVP of Europe take on the sub.
Dude, he's still in this lane. He's at 1,800 gold. He could have backed to get boots already, but now he's going to stick around for this wave, maybe even another.
Trick's in a little bit of trouble, and he's up in the air. Are they going to go in? And they will. Trick's getting stunned out just a little bit, but the stun from Tricks will hurt Annenster. Detonate comes out, not enough to kill, but now Zelia's made the rotation, but he's all by himself, dashing through the enemy Cloud9. He's able to get safe and sound. Will the execute happen? Will the execute happen?
No.
Taunt will prevent QO Fred from going deep, and now he's in trouble. Gets the kill! That's a second kill for Paradigm, and QO looks like he will be safe.
Will Stealth? No, Stealth didn't blow it up. Lobster, very low here, doesn't get the rewind off. Omega finally joins the fray here, finds the so beautiful Stealth or not, can see right through it. Gonna find now 2 for 2. Cloud9 showing that they're still alive.
I loved that kill from Omega. That is veteran play. You understand, with Stealth, we've seen it for a long time with Loki's. If you understand the thought process of a pro player and everything, you can understand where they're going to go. Right through the wall with so beautiful. Nails Cuvo. You got my teammate, but I'm going to make you pay for it. Cloud9 evens up the game 2-2.
Yeah, it was good play by Cloud9, but Paradigm really gave that to Cloud9. They chased way too far, stayed way too long. That was more of a mistake by Paradigm than Cloud9 playing well there. So it was good by Cloud9 to take advantage of it for sure.
Very, very true. You got to take what you're given.
Yeah.
Even if you're given it, you have to take it off the table. Annenster going to sit here in the middle lane with Jeff, and they're going to hold the wave, allowing their mid laner to get experience and gold for it as well.
I'm kind of wondering what that fight would have looked like had Lobster actually gotten the rewind off.
Right.
He died right in... Oh, wait, look at this. Azalea is so cheeky.
No, that's AFK.
No, but he steals away the blue buff, actually leaving one of the creeps up to just make Mackey's life even worse in this lane, despite the fact that he's already down by 700.
That's one of my favorite moves that we've seen less and less, but I think with how fast jungle camps are respawning, we're going to see it come back. What happens is the camps don't respawn until all the characters are dead. So by leaving one minion up, that'll just delay even more the length of time that it'll take to get that buff.
Dude, this Emerald Acorn is brutal right now.
Going back to what you said earlier about how Europeans were building the Opal Acorn, Ratataster's been out for a long period of time, so I think they've had more time to experiment. And a lot of the soul landers are starting to transition over to the Emerald just because it's saying, oh,
Sustain is just so strong. Ratatasker able to dive onto the tower. He'll lose a lot of his HP, but as soon as that second ability comes up, it's off cooldown right now, he'll be able to heal.
And this is what's so important, is Opal gives you the damage, right? Which is why the junglers tend to favor it. But he is not looking for kills in this lane. Zayla's just like, you can keep going back. I'll just keep pushing you out little by little, and it's really turning into something special here. It's almost 1,000 gold now.
Yeah, going back to that too, gold. We gotta find a mid here.
Yeah, look at this. Whoa, Trick's really low here. Gonna get blown up. Accidentally body blocked by Cubo Fred. Miscommunication turns out into a big win for Cloud9.
Athena taunt into Zeus ult. That's classic.
Yeah, their core is just so strong.
You were talking about it before, Aurora. Just the stuns from Thor, the direction from Athena, and the straight raw damage from Zeus. It's a great core composition, and I mean, you just can't get more basic than that. Taunt into the large circle and stun them so they're in it. It's a classic in Smite.
Wow! Oh my God, that damage! He uses the blue acorn perfectly there, slowing, dashing past, getting all 12 to hit on the way back. Mackie losing the tower here, gonna make the teleport even weaker.
He's forced out again. He loses his tower as well, and people have to realize that the kills aren't as much as minions now with the new patch that just came out.
That's right. Yeah. He's getting a lot of extra experience. He's using the tower to strip them away. The gold lead extends even farther now to almost 1,300, and the gold fury hasn't even been taken. And oh my God, look at the experience per minute. He's like, hey, what can I farm? I'll go take that creep I left.
This is just what we've come to expect out of Xaylia. There's a reason why Europe voted him in a region with extremely volatile solo laners. There's a reason Xaylia's crowned the MVP in that region. He's able to not just do this, but do this with a new god. Do this with a god that players haven't seen, players haven't really practiced with.
So for me, I think for those of you at home who are playing the fantasy game on alphadraft.com, Xaylia, I really hope you picked him.
to say the absolute least, just able to do whatever he wants in this lane. He has the freedom.
I mean, and there's no way to stop him. He has 11 dashes and an ult that lets him go anywhere on the map while healing himself, right? Like, and slows.
One thing that we haven't even talked about that much is the Ao Kuang. Once it gets to late game, he's going to be doing so much work. And the Ratatasker as well. We've just been talking all Xaylia. But this Ao Kuang has just been farming up. He's going to be really strong in the late game.
That's right. And he's reaching critical mass now. Level 14 is Ao Kuang's strongest level. Where Wildstorm, Dragon Call are both going to be maxed, on top of the fact that he'll have access to his level 3 ultimate. But that doesn't mean he gets any weaker as the game goes on. He tends to just stagnate out at, the most damage ever.
You usually rank your 1 instead of your ultimate as Ao Kuang after you get 1 rank in it. So he has more ranks in his 1 because it does unbelievable damage.
Right, we actually get a lot of damage out of the ultimate as well, on top of the fact that the healing potential allows him to be more dangerous. We've seen players do both.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to have to take bets here because the next level, what is he going to do? He got us 1. You're right. Yeah. He got me. My man.
That's why we have him. But so we've seen the raw potential of what this Ao Kuang can bring to the table. If you guys have watched the summer split at all, Team Eager's Dare to Care, the jungler, actually one-shot a player late game.
Yeah, Polynomicon, Soul Reaver, activate Dragon Call, and apply with Girdle of Might the Wild Storm.
Yeah.
Hits for 4 separate points of damage and kills people.
Able to just take people out in a single bound. So Ao Kwang definitely talked a lot about how late game, definitely able to do it.
Mackey's in there. This is beautiful. Right to the air.
Ooh.
Thor goes as well. Nothing found. Anister again off the mark. Nothing gained there on that invade. Who got the speed?
Speed went to
Oh,
Cubo
wait,
Fred.
Zalia's in. Oh, the huge shield plus the Geb shield. Dart still available. He's looking for... No, Cubo got him.
Wrong way to jump, my friend. Lobster gets credit for 1 kill. Ao Kwang in the air. He'll land aggressively. Andenster dies by the ghost explosion. Cubo Fred showing the small mechanics that show that he has practiced on this god and is ready to go.
Man, if you guys missed that, lightning fast, lands down, 2 auto attacks, cancels into the Wildstorm, and then teleports, explodes the decoy for the kill. That's the kind of play we're looking at from Ao Kwang.
And again, the stuff after the stuff. Paradigm, no, not new players go directly to the Gold Fury.
Yeah, looking at that, if that was Barracuda possibly, he might have checked the Gold Fury just with Omega's inexperience in the duo lane. So they were able to get that for free as well. But the team also rotated it over, so they would have got it eventually, but it would have been a little bit more delayed.
Once again, Zalia backing with enough gold to buy a full item. This time, Jotun's Wrath coming out. 40 damage, 11 pen, little bit of mana, and of course 25% cooldown reduction.
That's just going to allow more abilities to come out more often, and Ratatasker is one of the easiest examples of an ability-based god. The god, sure, basic attacks are nice, but it's all about those acorns.
All about getting those abilities off as much as possible. Lobster going to be taunted out here, losing very little health thanks to a beautiful Geb shield, and Cubo Fred, in a rare moment of clarity, decides to not jump into 3 people.
Yeah, Athena's really like not the best against Geb because of the shield, but they played it really well there. Thor walled, they got the Geb shield out, and then Athena taunted, which was really good. But because Cloud9's so far behind, they didn't really get any damage off it because the Zeus is afraid of the Ratatasker ult, and he's also afraid of Ao Kwang coming in from the flank. So he just has to watch himself, so he's not able to follow up as much as he wants to.
For me, Paradigm's comp is absurd because you have Kronos and Freya both looking to do their auto attacks for damage, right? Which means you can't build Midgardian Mail. It's not going to help you, right? Then you have just flat damage coming out from Cubo Fred. Look at this. He's getting chased. Geb shield. Look at the stun. More damage. 3-man Cataclysm. Paradigm is on a tear.
Lobster picks up 1, and they're still chasing Mr. Mackey. Mr. Mackey, Cubo Fred gets the kill. Mackey going back to the base for 30 seconds.
Omega's going back to the base as well, or at least he hopes to. No, it stopped. Forced to use the moves. His ultimate's already on cooldown. They should go to Fire Giant.
Yeah, Omega will be safe here. It's just a matter of how far he's got to run.
That's the wrong side of the map.
Not quite. He's going to force the fight. That's the fun ball we all know. And, well, some people love. Cubo Fred fills it out. Omega, one more time.
I think you and Omega were on the same page there.
Well, I think I'm safe.
You're safe.
Except I'm not. Unfortunately, I mean, that's just wrong place to back.
Yeah, looking at Trix here, like, that shield was great. He got him out of the CC, and then he had a great Geb ultimate to stop
the 3-man cat.
Yeah, that was crazy. Really good play by Trix there. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, and going back to that Omega death, I mean, that's fun ball. He is one of the most aggressive players we have here in the SPL. You've got to expect that.
So we're 16 minutes in here. Fire Giant still stands. Gold Fury down for another 2 minutes. And most of the jungle even cleared. This is going to put us back to a strange, rather footsie-based farming game, unless someone steps out of position.
And if this is a farming game, it's going to be really good for Paradigm, because they have 4 hyper carries on their team. It's crazy. The Ao Kwang, Freya, Kronos, and Ratatasker. And then supporting them is probably the best support to support a hyper carry, which is Geb. So their comp is really strong right now in this farm game. So they're happy with just farming away.
Last game, Cloud9 had one real, like, deep breath, like one good exhale, and that was, we got the hyper carry, we'll kill Freya. Now if that happens, there's still, Ratatasker and Kronos to deal with.
Yeah.
And God forbid Kronos gets that rewind off in a fight, man. You are going to feel
And then it's another hyper carry. Then it's 5 instead of 4.
And I mean, Kronos, One of the bigger things about Kronos is that he's always ready for a fight. He's never low on mana because it costs him virtually no mana to farm. As you watch, as long as Lobster uses this passive correctly, he'll be able to clear the wave for free. So Lobster always ready for a fight, regardless of what's happening. Cloud9 can't really pull the wool over anybody's eyes on this team.
So with that, Spear getting started up here by Cubo Fred, 4-1-2 right now after the Wing Blade. I'm expecting his final 2 items to be Soul Reaver and Polynomicon.
Yeah, possibly. We'll have to see for sure. I don't know. He might not go Poly. He's probably going to go Soul for sure, but we'll have to see on that. Right now, the way Paradigm's playing is they're just farming, and as long as they're farming, they're happy with that. They're a better late game team than Cloud9, so they could sit here all day and keep killing minions
and
if they want.
They already have a ridiculous lead. In fact, let's take a look at the graphs. It's been a little while. You'll see experience difference to the tune of 9,500. You can really see that relevant in Xaylia being 4 levels ahead of Mackie. Cuvo's got 2 on Andy. Like, this is brutal.
I will mention, though, Omega does have a level up on Funball.
They're even now. He just hit that as you said
about half a level up on Funball. So that's something's going on there. Something is going on there. Funball's rotating a little bit more, I think, out of the lanes and getting what he wants, but it's just a matter of time.
So speaking of time, we're approaching the 20-minute mark. With that, Fire Giant becomes a little more prevalent in this stage of the game. People really looking to ward more for it, defend more for it, aggress onto it. They want to try to bait fights near it. And Paradigm's going to have a good opportunity to force Cloud9 into a fight they don't want to be in. And what they lack in the ability to do absurd damage and hypercarry in the endgame, what they do make up for it is choke point control. Zeus literally shuts down entire parts of the jungle here, but you can see Lobster cares very little for Zeus's nonsense.
Let's take a look at, well, we just left him, but take a look at Cubo for, well, Paradigm will start up the Gold Fury one more time. Cloud9 all on board, but no vision. Take a look at Cubo Fred. We see that he hasn't really updated his ultimate at all, even since we talked about it before.
Yeah. The one does crazy damage, so that's why he's going into it. The ultimate still is going to execute at 30%. So that's why he's keeping it at 30%.
The threshold never changes.
Yeah. So, but the 1 damage does, and that's what you want, more damage. We got to fight in mid.
Jeff's gone. Jeff's got absolutely decimated. Funball, I thought was going to take to the sky. Smart of Anistar to get out of there quickly. MLC Stealth still hasn't used his ultimate, strangely enough, and he's going to get turned on. Maybe too little too late. He goes into the beats here. Beautiful teleport for the shot, and Lobster will find the kill.
One more basic, and that's all he needed. MLC Stealth tried to wait around in the ultimate, but not able to really save himself. Trickstang gonna take the tower because all 4 members of his team are gonna show up. Now, Freya, not the most adept at killing the towers, but oh boy, Kronos, the opposite. Quite frankly, Kronos might be the best tower killer in the game.
He is the highest single target tower damage, period. Accelerate, adding 45% of his damage directly to his auto attacks, ensuring that he does completely absurd amounts, especially once he has penetration online. Which I am assuming we're going to see Obsidian Shard somewhere down the line here.
And because he's a mage as well, mages, the way mage basic attacks, it gets very mathy, but essentially at home, the way mages, they get a bonus for basic attacking the towers, and Kronos on top of that gives himself a bonus. So he gets essentially double dips, while most mages only get 1. So
let's
two bonuses.
Quadruple dip it here, because he just picked up Rada Tahuti for a 25% increase to his power, and now has gotten a red buff, which is another increase to his power. Just God help the person that winds up in a boxing match against Lobster right now. Except for maybe Freya, I guess. He could box his own teammate and it would go pretty even. Otherwise, it's going to be Kronos.
Yeah, Lobster really not afraid of anything here in the middle lane, 21 minutes in, hanging out by himself. Meanwhile, Xaylia getting aggressive, no problem. He's been on this blue buff the entire game.
It's his buff now. That is his side of the map. And I'm not talking about top and bottom. The right side of the map now belongs to Xaylia completely. Mackie out of position at his own blue buff. Like, that's where things have gotten crazy. You see good rotation over to right. Jeff Himla, again, taking a lot of damages. I think Andy took to the sky there.
Andy did go up, but he's going to play defensively.
Yeah. So one thing that Jeff was doing there, he dashed in, and Trix had a really good knock-up on him. And that's just one of the most frustrating feelings as an Athena player is when you dash in and you look to taunt, but your taunt gets canceled.
Look at this in the back line. You're going to see Jeff Inlet and Stealth try to make the play forward. Mackie already in there thanks to the teleport. Mackie might have overcommit here. Two-man Kata. We're going to get some damage off from Zeus, but I think it's a little bit too late in the game, and he's a little bit too low level for this to work.
Zeus going to fall down to the blink out of Cubo one more time.
Oh,
Funball in the air, dealing out so much damage. They're going to send Anderster running to the right. He'll die. They're going to send Omega running to the left. He'll die. And there's a deicide going the way of Paradigm.
Right there.
Fire
F6.
Giant.
F6. I knew it was coming. 100%. They have 5 hypercarriers. You called it. They don't have 4. Lobster went down to 1% in that fight and rewinded out of it. They knew that was absolutely done for. The European underdogs looking like powerhouses here. This could be a team favorite going into day 3.
Yeah, they're playing great. Paradigm just looks amazing to how they've looked at previous lands.
Yeah, I mean, they're showing so much incredible power from Paradigm. Just not really what we expected. So, very cool stuff.
I'm absolutely blown away by it. I mean, realistically, the early game didn't even go that badly this time for Cloud9. They were much closer at the 6-minute mark than they were in the previous, but the issue is Xaylia went into a very unique build, right, going into that Emerald, giving so much potential of frontline damage to the team, and I can't believe how much damage he was doing with the Flurry of Acorns, man. Insane.
It's just the amount of distance he created between himself and Mackie.
And the early game kill on him really put Mackie in a tough spot. You saw most of the Bologna alts were out of the fight, so yeah.
That was a team comp, man. Plain and simple. That team comp needed to be rushed down. They didn't have any opportunity to do it whatsoever. They took control early. Paradigm looking super strong. And what's crazy is we're normally talking about non-stop duo lane. And while Trix and Funball have had amazing games, you know, Funball getting MVP last game, it's been the Lobster show. I mean, he's just been unstoppable.
Yeah, this one was all around Paradigm. Let's see what the analysts think over there at the analyst desk. Kevin, take it away.
Welcome back to the Analyst Desk, hosted by Curse Voice. I'm here with Bart, and Cloud9 drops the second game. Again, I would high five for EU, but
let's do it. High five for EU.
Paradigm
EU may actually win a game at this lane, or a match.
Or a match, the first best of 3. They haven't won since Lodge Tournament. But it was a completely different composition from game 1, where it seems Paradigm had this whole plan set out. They had a very tanky, slow, CC-oriented team composition, and in this game it's kind of like, well, all these really powerful hyper carries are available. Let's grab them.
Yeah, it was a weird. You're right. I mean, and so the theme of both games was we're going to fight you. In game number 2, though, they didn't really draft a team that was exceptionally good at that, which was kind of strange, right? But still played that kind of game and found the way to steamroll through Cloud9, even with like big counter initiation ults like Zeus.
Yes.
It wasn't able to make it happen.
And we even saw the Zeus split the team a couple times, but it was really a lot of flanking coming in, and it seems like all of Paradigm were on the same page. When one person went in, they all went in. They all full committed. Even if they had to disperse at first, they always counter or re-engaged.
It was kind of a clowny composition that they had, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was basically like, so Ratatasker and Alquang are both these kind of like nip at the heels assassins that are going to pick off anybody that gets pushed out of the fight. And then you have Kronos and Freya that kind of do the same thing. They just stick to a target and take them down over time. And then again, you know, it was this really strange composition that really there isn't very much synergy there. It just outplayed. I mean, they basically outplayed
it's like
Cloud9.
individual skill outplayed, and you know, Anderster was missing a couple abilities, a couple Thor ults once again for that
re-engage is Thor where you give it the kill to Alquang at the T2.
I feel like it's hard to say, right, because we're not talking to the players, but it really seems like they're frustrated. And I think that F6. I mean, right before the F6 happened, I'm talking to Hinderman. I'm like, I feel like they're about to F6.
Yeah.
And they did.
Well, anytime you see a surrender in professional play,
it's frustration.
Almost always frustration. I mean, rarely is it like, you know, your captain's like in his Zen moment, he's like, we give this one up to move on to game 3 where we come, you know, it's almost always like, we're just going to drive ourselves in the ground if we try to win this thing.
Paradigm looked good, though, in that game. And I'm going to be interested to see if they drop the same. I almost feel like they tried to style on.
Yeah.
It was the individual skill.
Yes.
Just like everyone picks their favorite gods and let's play against Cloud9, who are obviously beating on themselves.
Well, do you think Cloud9's going to ban Freya going into this game?
They banned exactly what I said. Myself and Hindu said that last match was the Isis, and he said Ymir, and it just didn't matter.
No.
It's what are you going to ban?
But that's how 2 games in a row the Funballs played Freya.
That's true.
Maybe not. I mean, maybe it doesn't really matter what you ban out of the Hunter role because you're not starting your Hunter.
Yes.
So, I mean, they won the lane with Freya Bologna, right, against an Apollo, which maybe Freya gets that mid-game advantage, but Apollo really should have been able to take over that first game later on. Omega struggling a bit there, but yeah, in game 2, I mean, you saw the same thing, that the Apollo, not a lot of game impact, it seemed like. A couple missed ultimates to secure some kills. all things told, I mean, you see Cloud9, I think, struggling, missing their star player.
I agree, and you see on your screen Cubo Fred, player of the game. He played a great Ao Kuang. They first picked it, and it was obviously the correct choice. He stole a couple kills from Xaylia there, but he was in on the fight, and he would still initiate. Even though he's Ao Kuang, we constantly saw him initiating the fights, and he would back off afterwards. But with the lack of the front line that the team had, they needed someone to go in, and Cubo Fred took that role on.
Prioritizing targets against that team was probably pretty challenging, right? Like, if you're ahead with all those damage carries, to pick the one that you need to kill in any given situation is pretty tough, and it allowed Ao Kuang to move in and out of those fights. And another thing that I do want to point out here is when you really looked at how this game kind of broke out, right? Cloud9 in both games kind of had a good start.
Yes.
And then got rolled over, basically. And I think, kind of looking at it, that it's Xaylia's dominance of that solo lane versus Mackie, who is, by all accounts, a very good player.
He did get first blood.
Right, he got first blooded, and then that just opens up the map for Ratatasker to move around.
I think the big thing is, because Game 1 really wasn't dominance, he held his own lane. I think it's the fact that he can't control Xaylia. Even though he's not getting significantly behind Xaylia, it's the fact that Xaylia has, it's basically having an extra man in the fight every time, because Xaylia is not only going to be there first, but he's going to be doing more than your solo laner who hasn't played in an entire split.
So where's Kabrakan for Cuvo, you think? I think that's coming in this next game?
I don't think they need to. I think they keep playing him on these hyper carries that are obviously working.
Yeah. So a Wheelish maybe?
We could see a Wheelish. We could see that composition come out.
Gab, Wheelish.
And that's really a European team composition that we've started to see form. We saw Titan
Sylvanas make it through picks and bans this time around, you think? Like, will they ban the Ao Kuang instead on the side of Cloud9?
Banning the Ao Kuang instead, that's the thing, is I don't think they change their bans. I think they just need to change how they're playing or really come to play, because I think their bans were fine, and we mentioned it before, is their team composition was fine. Realistically, Cloud9 should have won the early to mid game.
In both games, I mean, Cloud9, I would say, won
early
the draft.
Game. Yes.
Like, they had the better team composition overall in both of the games. Maybe the Fender is a little suspect going into the Osiris, but it's certainly in game 2. I mean, they had Thor, Athena, Apollo. Like, that should
dominate
certainly
early.
Crush the mid game.
It should control early.
They should have taken 3 Gold Furies, like, uncontested with that composition.
And it's just the slipperiness of Paradigm to stay alive. In game 1, it made sense. They had the Protect comp. Game 2, though, you have 4 hyper carries, and you can't lock them down with, like you said,
Old
Thor,
school
Apollo,
strats.
Athena. Like, that's a problem.
When was that? That was probably about a year ago now, where it was like, pick 4 carries in a Geb and just hope he shields the right people.
That was
at the right
Cog
time.
Red.
Yeah, it was the Cog Red strat. And now we see formerly Trig, now Paradigm, doing that to great effect. I mean,
what do you think going forward? Are they going to try? We've seen 2 different main compositions from them. We saw the Protect comp. We saw the Hyper Carry comp. Are they just going to really throw a different style around? Maybe they'll draft something similar to
for
C9?
Paradigm, I mean, for me, kind of what we've been talking about here, I'm actually led to believe that they're probably not drafting for composition at this point. They're probably just drafting for what they think is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely what the last game looked like.
It's working, it seems. Game 1 was like, this is what we're doing.
Game 1 was very...
And it was like fast picks as well.
Yeah, seemed very calculated, very like, we're going to run
I think they realize it's like a lion and like a wound, like the back of the pack. It's like they're wounded, their best player is gone. We're just going to hit him and we're just going to style on him.
Yeah, so it's interesting thing. Food poisoning is kind of the
I think that's what I heard. Apparently bad enough to not show up.
Yeah,
so
to not show up.
It's
I mean,
severe.
it's got to be pretty bad. I mean,
you can't throw up on your computer either. Like.
Right. Yeah, but hey, there's something we said for kind of playing through the pain.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Cloud9 definitely struggling without at least the moral kind of rock of Barracuda.
I think he's a big shot caller in the late game as well. He's probably a more. This is a personal experience coming from ranked. Is that most people get frustrated when they lose ranked. Barracuda is always happy.
Yeah.
I'm like 10k down. I'm like, Barra, I'm F60. He's like, no man, we can win.
We can still win. Yeah.
We can still win. I'm like, I hate you. I hate you. And then we win. He is a guy who will always keep his team up and ready to play. And not only are you down your star player or one of your star players, but you're also down that guy who keeps you in the game when you're missing someone or missing something important. It's just a double hit for them.
One of the things I saw, like during the pregame of the last game, the camera was on Andenster, and you could see Mackie just to his left was kind of suggesting something during picks and bans, and Andenster kind of like rolled his eyes and like chuckled, right? So, it's just adding someone in at the last stage is not an easy thing to do. And I think it goes to show you a little bit. I mean, Mackie's a very good player, but teams that managers and subs are really parts of the team tend to do better than teams who pick people they like to operate the organization.
So I don't know if you noticed, I'm pretty excited. Barracuda is actually going to be playing in this match.
Barracuda's in the
Breaking.
building?
So we were actually joking. We were like, we're going to have this like 80s
0-2 and then
montage. He's
turn
just going to
around.
like jump in here and take over. So Barracuda will be participating in Game 3 in match point
boy.
as well. I don't know how he's feeling. I'm sure we're going to see cameras on him
Does
soon.
it claim? Does this change now? Like, are you predicting now Cloud9 wins Game 3?
I'm not saying they're going to win Game 3, but I think
But they're not gonna lose.
their morale is going to go up, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
even if even if Barracuda doesn't play to his best, which is unlikely when you're that sick,
Yeah.
I think the team as a whole is going to feel more comfortable heading into this game.
Yeah, I mean, do you think so? Well, here's kind of an interesting question about Cloud9. Like, Mackie is a solo lane player.
Yes.
You know, why do you think that? Like was
Switched
it really
it up?
better to put Omega into the Hunter role in that situation, or would you prefer to maybe? See
I
Mackie
think
just-
that was definitely comfort, and I actually did like the switch because I think Omega is a very talented Hunter player. I just
Yeah,
think the lack.
he went really deep in that on her joust tournament. We did.
I think if Barracuda was sick yesterday and Omega had a chance to practice Hunters, I think they would have done much
I
better.
think so too. Yeah.
Because I think he is a player who could fill that role. Maybe not, to the effect of Barracuda, one of the highest KDAs in the SPL.
He can at least be as good as, say, an Allied.
Yes, I'd say.
Love the
Shots. And then Makey is going to be far more comfortable and less likely to take the pressure that he would if
Not
he
to
was a
mention,
Hunter.
right? I mean, like, and I guess it's kind of a little bit of a gray area, at least in Smite. It's something that's really kind of maturing now. But having that coach, captain,
Yes.
manager position available, right, outside of your starting five to kind of step back and look during the picks and bans and kind of give you those
So,
notes and watch the game.
I can't, comment on particulars because I promised I wouldn't. I was watching Cloud9 versus TSM Scrim yesterday, and Mickey was a huge part of their picks and bans. I mean, he would say, all right, this is the strategy we're running against this team, but if they pick this, we're going to audible to this start. And he is there, and I think having him not have to focus on the game and focusing on getting his players prepared is also going to be a big jump for them in this I don't want to say final match, but this third match.
What do you think would be the bigger impact, right? Having your analyst available to actually analyze the game, or to have your starting player?
It's Barracuda.
Okay.
Barracuda by far. I mean, they're both big parts, but I mean, having Barracuda back, I think the morale is going to be the big thing. And you can see it in the player cams. You can see it in their faces. Like, they were not feeling game 2.
No.
They F6'd.
So, I mean, like, how bad is it going to be if Omega loses the lane to Zalia now? Like, how demoralizing? I mean, that's going to be, like, if he's able to crush Zalia, I think really the turning point for this game, and tell me if you agree or not, is going to be that solo lane, right? Just because of, like, that was their Achilles heel.
It was the impact.
Right? And so, like, now, like, if Omega wins against Zalia or loses very badly against Zalia, I feel like that's the barometer for the game.
I can give that because Barracuda is. I don't see him winning against Funballer, but I don't really see him losing. I think
And they
he'll
didn't
be
really
playing.
give up kills in the duo lane. Like, they didn't snowball really badly.
No, it was very fine. Reminder, guys, though, alphadraft.com, your source for all Smite fantasy. Run daily leagues, and they're actually running leagues today for this land, tomorrow as well, and for Sunday. And it's one-time sign-up. You can play for free. You can play to win money. You can play for giveaways. Free entry for some of them. It's awesome, and you have your chance to win some money.
You go there, you pick your favorite players, or the ones you think are going to make you the most points, and then if you were the most right that day, you get the prizes. It's pretty great. I've done
I'm about to leave and go.
I've done it a few times, yeah.
I was playing with it a little bit yesterday.
I've lost every time, but I've done it.
Hey, don't. You're going to win sometime.
Hey, I'm the fish.
I believe
Take
in
my
you.
money.
I'll be the shark.
Yeah, there you go.
All right,
$20 right now.
So Barracuda, he's still coming in. He's still getting prepared. So we're going to keep talking for a little bit. Another thing, esports chests, all of them are on sale this weekend for 200 gems as opposed to 300 gems, and all are available. Typically, we're going to be limiting them to only a certain available during time periods. All of them are available for 200 gems.
That's right, yeah. So right now, or prior to this, they were on kind of like a 4 up, 4 down kind of rotating schedule. All of them available now, and the price goes down, but the contribution to the prize pool and to the teams themselves doesn't change. So a good chance to support esports for a little bit less money than you would have had to do it outside of the promotional period.
Yep. So Paradigm versus Cloud9. Paradigm currently up 2-0. We're going to take a look at their team highlights real quick to remind you which players are here competing.
Funballer. Bricks Tank. Lobster. Hugo Fred. Zalia.
Welcome back, guys. So we're still waiting for Barracuda to come in. He'll be taking the place, or taking his rightful place back as Hunter. Makey will be coaching this final game.
Yeah, I wonder how long they actually have. Like, I wonder if they've like, used pauses or stuff to like wait, like accommodate for Barracuda.
I think we're waiting. I think they have a little bit of extra time for this, unique
Paradigm
scenario. Yeah.
agree to a little bit of a longer.
Yeah. Let's take a look at Cloud9 real quick though and see Barracuda on screen.
Barracuda. Jeff, the sex handler. MLC Stealth. Endenster. Omega.
All right, guys, just a little bit more. So Cloud9, it's gonna be. Oh, he just ran through. Barrack. Oh, he's not gonna stop by for an interview.
Yeah, come on, Johnny.
Oh, he was on screen.
Johnny Salter, where you at, buddy?
Oh man. Okay.
You should come sit on the couch and join us.
I know, but I think people will be mad.
He could be
We're
between
delaying.
two nerds.
It's a great name for this new
That's
set.
a great name.
Say hi to Barracuda, guys. He's on screen. Barracuda, give us a wave if you can hear me. Dan or Cooper, tell him. All right, awesome. Awesome, guys.
With
So
his fresh blue hair.
it's Cloud9 blue.
Now, last time he came to LAN, it was like little dingy, had started to fade a little bit, but this time in full vibrant effect.
Maybe he wasn't even sick. Maybe he was just like
Getting the hair together?
He got it. He got his.
He was in the hotel room in the like double gravity doing push-ups like Goku, waiting for all his friends to die before he joined the fight.
Hyperbolic time.
He's in a hyperbolic time chamber right now. That's what he was doing.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Thank you.
But your mic was a little bit off there.
That was
We
great.
fixed it for you.
That was great.
I don't know if we're on screen, but I mean, you just called it out, so might as well just say it.
I don't know.
I like the beard.
When
I
you touch,
can't.
Anytime you touch me, I have a quiver.
Okay, so moving forward into Game 3.
Okay.
Barracuda finally came through, but it's going to be. I said his name a million times now. It's going to be interesting, right?
call him John Salter.
John Salter has come through to play finally here, but they're still down 2 games. This is like.
Is this
they need
his
to play
like
big.
Michael Jordan like dad just died NBA Finals moment?
I mean, his fever. He was. Michael Jordan was feverish too.
Yeah.
One game, and that was one of his biggest ones.
Yeah.
He could show up and just be the best player in the world right now.
Well, he definitely has the capability. We've seen him be at times the best player in the world.
Yeah, and he's going to be matching him against Funball, who has really had 2 fantastic showings on Freya. Now I think this Freya ban that you were talking about will matter here.
What if they just first pick Freya for Barracuda though?
They could. It's a god he's very comfortable with. I mean, he's comfortable with all hunters, but it's going to be interesting to see if they elect to take it away. But then you leave potentially Ratatoskr, Alquang, Sylvanas.
How effective do you think Ratatoskr is overall as a pick in competitive play?
I
right now?
think he's more effective for the fact that people haven't really experienced that much against him at high levels and full-blown scrims and full-blown tournaments. That's where we see these newer gods really start to shine, is maybe not they're the strongest picks, but that people aren't comfortable countering them. Alquang at Worlds, Ares at Worlds as well, where even though he'd been out for a while, no one in North America had played against him.
But I mean, like sometimes but like Alquash doesn't seem to be holding true. Like Alquash is kind of like seems very manageable. I guess his kit isn't too complicated in terms of new mechanics you need to deal with outside of the kind of heal stun. But all things told, like he's been okay.
I think Alquash has a very obvious shutdown. It's the Boosh. It has a very obvious shutdown, right? He can't hard stun someone.
Yeah.
You pick someone with Wingblade that can dive him, and you can shut him down. I think that was very clear cut. Whereas Ratatoskr, it's a little bit harder. We see the Fenrir counter picks come up, and sometimes in Soul Lane Bologna, although it didn't work that last time. Really aggressive gods to try and take him out early, but it's not as clear cut, I think, as
So yeah,
taking out that
one of the
mid laner.
big kind of things that I always point to when when we talk about new gods coming into the fray is like always think back about Osiris. Osiris is kind of like
I
the
say
best
the same
example
thing.
of this kind of stuff. It's like nobody touched Osiris for like 2 months, and then all of a sudden
It was Divios.
Divios figured out kind of the attack chain tech and like a little bit of some of the shenanigans you could do and how effective it could be if you actually hit all your spirit flails. And now Osiris, and they also figured out that his number 3 is basically an ultimate, and he's a really good
very strong.
character.
It's very strong. Damage reduction,
Yeah,
stun power
does
at
a
the
lot
end.
of good things. It's also a really hilarious bug with it.
We're not going to talk about that. All right, guys, though, Game 3 about to get underway. Casters, take it away.
are going to be controlled. It looks like they're going to be going to red.
Funball prevent this wave from pushing on his tower, falling behind a little bit, but that's what I was talking about, Brandon. Zelia, not the greatest game from on Sun Wukong last time. This time, leading by over a level onto the accomplished Omega. So very, very strong stuff. Barracuda needs to find his strength. He's getting aggressed on, but here comes Jeff.
Geb Shield 8, 75% of that Freya ult.
Beautiful pillar.
And that pillar was something to write home to mom about, all right? That was brilliant. Now, right there, Cubo Fred, he could have been brought into the choke point and maybe been in some trouble, but Andy, super smart, decides to bring him to the farthest point possible, specifically because Ymir has no escape. It's going to be a 1-for-1, though, is over on the right side. Zelia solos.
Still
and I mean
more
that,
damage
solos.
coming out onto the left-hand side. Zeus is going crazy. That ultimate has put a lot of charges on the enemy.
Mana.
Not enough to go ahead and detonate, though. Funball beads are down. That's why he's safe. Lobster, not the same story. One more hit, and Anidster will be the one to claim the life of the mid lane for Paradigm.
Barracuda never really in any danger, despite the fact that he ran out of mana. He made sure that Zeus covered Agni the whole time. Funball didn't have enough damage from that route, and the whole while Azalea pushing down the tier 1, another 500 gold for Paradigm, so it winds up being close to an even trade across the board, and you'll see that there's about 1,000 experience and 400 gold in favor of red, but realistically at 14 minutes, that's an even game.
We were talking a lot about the small things, the small mechanics. That's not going to be a win or a loss, but it's just fun to see Zelia with the Mystical Mail backs because he knows his armor is going to kill the minions. I love to see those small little interactions. It shows, the players, not only do they have fun with the game, but they understand everything that they need to.
With that full boots coming out, you see Wukong coming back out with a decent amount of damage, 40.
Oh.
Of course, added to the stats right there, on top of the fact that he's going to gain extra movement speed, most important.
Yeah, how this game's going right now, Zelia looks like he's going to be a way bigger threat than Omega, and that's huge. Their main source of damage, again, is the Zeus. It's different than the Alpwash, so Zelia is going to be able to dive him and pick him up. He's just going to be able to ult out a Zeus ult and then dive back onto him when his ult's down, and it's just going to be a really good look for Paradigm.
This Jotun's Wrath is so early. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, selling out his starter item this early to get Jotuns online, obviously not going to be a detriment in any way. This is going to put him in a position of major power. It's going to be up to Omega to get to the back line, but so far he hasn't really been able to rotate at all.
Yeah,
Death Toll is one of those starter items that it's just not that powerful as the game gets later and later. It's so strong, especially for basic attack oriented characters early on, but very quickly does it seem to wear out its welcome. And being able to switch that out for Jotun's Wrath, it means more cudgels, more animals, more Master's Wills, which are slows. You're just going to have so much control out of this Monkey King.
So Trixtank here getting forced away by Jeff, even leveled right there. Barracuda, though, with a 2-level advantage over Funball for the second game in a row.
Cuvo cleared up his buffs right now. Trixtank, nothing. Not going to look at Barracuda too hard. Just throw out some damage, force him out. That's really what your support wants to do. Keep the enemy hunter uneasy. You're not always looking for the kill. You're just looking for the uneasiness.
Yeah, him forcing the jump's big there. He has the Devo build, so him jumping is making him lose mana, and he doesn't have a good way besides Death Toll to get that back. So the more he jumps, the better it is for Paradigm.
Andy's still 2-0-4 right now. One of the few people with no deaths on the board. We also see a 1-0-3 from Barracuda and a 3-0-0 from Zelia. Like we said, Zelia didn't have the best game of his life last game. This time, things look a lot different. Not only does he have a 2-level advantage, but he has a perfect solo score on top of the fact that he's been very close to unkillable.
Got a short memory, and at this level of play, you need to have that. I mean, the best teams in the world will lose games. The best players in the world will miss abilities. How quickly can you forget it, get over it, and put on your next highlight play? That is what separates the good from the great. That's why we see Paradigm and Cloud9 here at the Summer Finals.
So we're about, let's say, 17 minutes. Both teams getting very close to 40,000 gold each. In fact, the gold lead has maybe not shrunk, but is become pretty normalized at about 600 here. Of course, still in favor of Cloud9. Neither team really showing any willingness to fight. Both teams look very, very frightened. Now, for me, Paradigm's got to be careful because while they still have a game to lose, it's up to the fact that if they lose another game, they're going to be straight up on tilt. They win 2 and then lose 2 because of a roster change. I mean, that's something that really messes with the mind. And then, of course, if Cloud9 makes a mistake, their tournament ends.
Which is a pretty big deal. There's a lot of money on the line here, folks. Just tens of thousands of dollars up for grabs. First place, $50,000. That's incredible. These teams really want to make it, and it's not just about the money. It's about the prestige and the seeding. Going into Fall Split, you want to be able to be feared. You want to be one of the top teams because Fall Split leads directly into World Championships.
So 5-7, they're going to move forward. Barracuda in a bit of trouble here. He jumps a little bit early, but no Eagles rally to follow. I'm sure Barra would have had his finger on the trigger regardless. Remember, CC immunity coming out from his ultimate. Did have level 1 beads as well, so probably wasn't really in too much danger. Oh, but look at this. Gold Fury going to be started. Trix is there to see it.
Zelia's still on the right side of the map. Omega will be backing to base. Does have teleport available if this became a fight. But Cloud9 instead retreats and doesn't make it happen.
Mid lane control right now. Neither team, again, willing to fight. They back off the Gold Fury. They back off the mid wave. They don't fight for mid camps. I mean, actually, Aki might have gotten one of those.
I think this game's interesting because it's not like game 2 where they had the 4 hyper carriers and one team's stronger than the other.